What if the story of Jesus didn't begin in a manger, but in the heart of another universe? What if his birth on earth wasn't the start, but the culmination of 6 divine lifetimes across the cosmos? This is the story told in the Urantia Book, a spiritual text unlike anything you've encountered, over 2,000 pages long and first published in 1955. It claims to be a revelation, not from one prophet, but from a group of celestial intelligences. And the most astonishing section? It's the detailed day-by-day biography of Jesus Christ, spanning more than 700 pages, far surpassing anything in the Bible, the Gospels, or the Apocrypha. But this isn't just a retelling of miracles and parables. This is the Jesus you've never heard about. The child who built his own house, the young man who supported 8 family members after Joseph's death, the adolescent who traveled through the Roman Empire and engaged with diverse thinkers and cultural traditions, and the divine being who knew, from the moment of his birth, that he was the Creator incarnate. In this account, Jesus is not simply a teacher or prophet. He is Michael of Nebadon, the sovereign ruler of a local universe, a vast region of space containing billions of worlds and celestial orders. To earn full experiential understanding of his creation, Michael undergoes a series of bestowals, incarnations into various created beings. Earth, known in the book as Urantia, is the site of his final and most important bestowal as a human. So when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, it wasn't just a divine miracle. It was a cosmic mission, a moment where the ruler of an entire universe voluntarily became one of his lowest creatures, to experience them, to understand them, and to show them the way back to the universal Father. The Jesus of the Urantia Book is not just the Son of God. He is the brother of every soul in the universe. And that's why this story matters. It's not trying to replace the Bible. It's trying to complete it by offering a deeper look into Jesus' life, motives, and message. Not just as a historical figure, but as a divine personality whose love extended across worlds. In the chapters to come, we'll walk through his lost years between the ages of 12 and 30, his travels, studies, and private missions, his cosmic awareness and inner struggles, and the universal significance of his crucifixion. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's not religious dogma. It's a vision, spiritual, scientific, and cosmic, of the life of Christ as told by those who claim to have watched it unfold. If you're ready to see Jesus not just as a man from the past, but as a soul shaper of the present, then this story was meant to find you. Imagine a universe so expansive it dwarfs every galaxy you've ever dreamed of. A cosmos ruled not by random chaos, but by order, compassion, and spiritual evolution. According to the Urantia Book, each universe is led by a divine being, a creator son known as Michael. Michael isn't simply a distant god. He's deeply involved in the lives of his creations, eager to understand every being within his universe, fully and deeply. To achieve this extraordinary empathy, Michael must incarnate to live as various forms of life he created. These incarnations are known as the Seven Bestowals. According to the Urantia Book, these bestowals are described as including roles such as each more humble and vulnerable than the last. He begins his journey as a Melchizedek son, an advanced spiritual teacher. He experiences existence as a Lanun-Andek sun, serving as a system sovereign responsible for entire planetary systems. He then incarnates as a material sun, part of the Adamic beings who biologically uplift evolutionary worlds. Michael continues, becoming a seraphic guardian, a direct angelic protector. He even assumes the role of an ascending mortal pilgrim on a spiritual journey towards paradise, feeling the deepest longing for cosmic reunion. Next, Michael incarnates as a Urantia being, a transitional form between material and spiritual existence. But it was his seventh and final bestowal that carried the greatest significance. Michael chose Earth, Urantia, to experience life as an ordinary human being. Why Earth? Why humanity? Earth is considered a challenging world, burdened with spiritual confusion, isolation, and rebellion. The Lucifer rebellion had thrown this corner of the cosmos into chaos. Humanity had forgotten its origins, confused its purpose, and distorted its destiny. Michael's final bestowal as Jesus of Nazareth was not just to teach or to heal, but to embody the essence of divine love amidst human suffering. By fully experiencing human pain, joy, struggle, and death, Michael demonstrated to every corner of creation the dignity and potential within human life. He validated humanity's path toward cosmic citizenship, turning our planet from a lost world into a beacon of hope. In doing this, Jesus didn't merely live a historical life. He became the eternal proof of the divine within the ordinary, transforming our daily existence into something sacred, powerful, and deeply purposeful. Between the ages of 12 and 30, the Bible remains strikingly silent about Jesus' life. It's as if nearly 2 decades simply vanished into thin air. But the Urantia Book fills this void with extraordinary detail, revealing an entirely new dimension to Jesus: the man, the thinker, the traveler. After astonishing the scholars in the temple at age 12, young Jesus returned to Nazareth and experienced an early life far more demanding than tradition portrays. Following Joseph's untimely death, Jesus assumed the heavy responsibility of caring for his mother and 7 siblings. He worked tirelessly as a carpenter and stonemason, becoming known not only for his skills, but also for fairness, patience, and quiet wisdom. But this was more than mere survival. These silent, laborious years were foundational, teaching Jesus humility, responsibility, and compassion on a deeply personal level. He learned firsthand about the struggles faced by ordinary people: poverty, family dynamics, and the quiet heroism of daily life. At age 22, Jesus left Nazareth temporarily, embarking on journeys rarely discussed elsewhere. He traveled widely across the Mediterranean world, visiting Egypt, Syria, and Rome, and possibly passing through regions of Mesopotamia and Greece. Contrary to speculative claims, he wasn't seeking esoteric wisdom or mystical powers. Instead, he sought to understand humanity itself, immersing himself in diverse cultures, languages, philosophies, and religions. In Alexandria, he studied the complexities of human philosophy. In Damascus, he exchanged thoughts with caravans of traders, learning about their beliefs, hopes, and fears. In Rome, he quietly observed the powerful and the oppressed, absorbing keen insights into human governance and justice. Each journey shaped him, not as a mystic detached from reality, but as a greatly compassionate observer of humanity's shared struggles and dreams. According to the Urantia Book, it was during these travels that Jesus solidified his teachings, refining messages of universal love, kindness, and divine fellowship that would later shake the foundations of established religious authorities. And yet, despite his vast experiences, he maintained quiet humility. Those who encountered him described Jesus as a deeply thoughtful, remarkably gentle, and mysteriously compelling young man. People from all walks of life, scholars, merchants, soldiers, and peasants, were drawn to his wisdom, which was always practical, relatable, and infused with spiritual depth. At the age of 30, after years of silent preparation and internal reflection, Jesus knew the time had finally come to embark on his public mission. He was ready to teach humanity truths far greater than any single tradition or culture could hold. He returned to Palestine, stepping forward to announce a message both timeless and revolutionary. A message of divine love, cosmic purpose, and the intrinsic worth of every human soul. These hidden years, far from being insignificant, were pivotal. They prepared Jesus not just to teach, but to embody the message he would soon share with the world. Throughout history, the teachings of Jesus have inspired billions. Yet, according to the Urantia Book, his true message was deeper, richer, and even more revolutionary than traditional sources reveal. At the heart of Jesus' teachings in the Urantia Book lies one great truth: the universal fatherhood of God and the universal brotherhood of humanity. Unlike many religious doctrines that separate people into believers and non-believers, Jesus emphasized inclusivity, proclaiming a loving, ever-present God accessible to all people, regardless of their religious affiliation or cultural background. This radical inclusivity is echoed clearly in his teaching about the thought adjuster, a divine spark within each human being. According to Jesus, this inner fragment of God guides individuals towards spiritual growth, the ultimate truth, and eternal survival beyond physical death. Thus, each person inherently possesses divine value, dignity, and infinite potential. Another distinctive teaching of Jesus from the Urantia Book involves his perspective on sin and redemption. Jesus taught that human shortcomings are not permanent stains needing ritual purification, but rather temporary missteps, opportunities for learning and spiritual evolution. His emphasis wasn't punishment or sacrifice, but understanding, forgiveness, and spiritual progress. Moreover, Jesus deeply challenged societal norms around wealth, status, and power. He proclaimed that true greatness comes not through dominance, but service, not through hoarding possessions, but through generosity and compassion. He taught that earthly achievements pale beside the eternal value of spiritual growth and character development. Perhaps most uniquely, Jesus did not seek to establish a rigid religious institution or dogma. Instead, he sought to foster personal relationships between individuals and God, encouraging personal discovery and direct communion rather than mere adherence to religious rituals or traditions. In short, the Jesus of the Urantia Book was extremely practical, yet deeply mystical, a spiritual guide who elevated love above law, unity above division, and personal experience above dogmatic belief. While the Urantia Book deeply respects the biblical traditions, it presents significant differences in how it portrays Jesus' life, teachings, and mission, differences that bring clarity and expanded perspective rather than contradiction or disrespect. One major difference is the sheer detail in the Urantia Book. It meticulously chronicles nearly every year of Jesus' life, while the Bible offers mostly broad strokes, highlighting key events without much daily context. The Urantia Book fills gaps left by the canonical Gospels, Jesus' childhood experiences, his travels, his family responsibilities, and his intimate human struggles, giving us an incredibly human, yet divinely clear portrait. Another essential distinction lies in the purpose of Jesus' crucifixion. The Bible frequently presents Jesus' death as a sacrifice necessary to satisfy divine justice and atone for humanity's sins. The Urantia Book, however, frames the crucifixion not as payment to an angry God, but as the ultimate act of supreme love. Jesus' willing demonstration of faithfulness, forgiveness, and spiritual triumph over hatred and cruelty. Further, the Urantia Book directly addresses Jesus' divinity and humanity, portraying him clearly as a divine creator incarnated fully as human. Jesus, in this account, consciously set aside his divine prerogatives, fully experiencing human limitations without using supernatural power for personal benefit. Ultimately, these differences don't diminish the Bible. They enhance and broaden our understanding. The Urantia Book invites readers into a more intimate relationship with Jesus, emphasizing his humanity, divine purpose, and universal message of love and unity, going beyond traditional doctrine towards personal experience and spiritual growth. In traditional Christian teachings, the crucifixion and resurrection represent sacrifice and redemption. But according to the Urantia Book, these events carry a cosmic significance far greater than mere historical moments on earth. Jesus' crucifixion wasn't simply an earthly tragedy or sacrifice, it was a universal demonstration. Through his death, Jesus revealed the ultimate power of love, forgiveness, and unwavering faithfulness, even in the face of unimaginable suffering and injustice. His courage reflected across the universe, affirming forever the spiritual principle that good triumphs over evil, truth over deceit, and love over hatred. The resurrection, in turn, demonstrated something deep and wise: the triumph of eternal life over physical death. It was not just a singular miraculous event, but a cosmic declaration that life transcends material limitations and that spiritual truth remains eternally victorious. According to the Urantia Book, beings throughout the cosmos observed Jesus' ordeal. They witnessed a divine creator willingly embrace mortality, vulnerability, and pain, exemplifying supreme humility and selfless devotion. This pivotal moment validated forever the dignity and potential of mortal life, elevating the spiritual standing of every human being in the eyes of the universe. In a sense, the crucifixion and resurrection were cosmic assurances. Human life, despite its struggles and sorrows, is inherently valuable and spiritually sacred. Jesus' actions forged an everlasting bridge between humanity and the divine, establishing our rightful place within a vast universal family. Thus, these events, far from being merely symbolic or theological concepts, stand as eternal testimonies to the power of unconditional love, divine purpose, and the invincible spirit of universal brotherhood. Beyond history, beyond cosmic truths, the teachings of Jesus from the Urantia Book greatly impact everyday life, right here, right now. His message isn't a relic of the past. It's a living guide for modern transformation. At its core, the Urantia perspective on Jesus calls each of us to recognize our divine connection, our internal guidance, the thought adjuster, and live accordingly. Imagine treating every interaction as sacred, every relationship as a divine partnership. Imagine facing each challenge not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity for spiritual growth. In practical terms, Jesus' teachings encourage radical kindness, empathy, and understanding in a world that desperately needs them. Whether it's forgiving someone who's wronged us, patiently helping a struggling friend, or quietly supporting a family member during hard times, we embody the spirit of Jesus by expressing compassion and understanding daily. His teachings also challenge us to rise above societal divisions, political, cultural, or religious. Jesus reminded humanity that beneath superficial differences, we are spiritually united. Today, applying this means seeking unity and harmony rather than deepening divisions. It means reaching out across disagreements, celebrating common ground, and fostering environments of peace and reconciliation. Living the Urantia-inspired teachings of Jesus also means acknowledging our worth and divine purpose. It reminds us that our lives matter, that our actions ripple through eternity, influencing far beyond what we can see. Every act of genuine love, every moment of kindness, and every sincere effort toward growth contributes to the universe's spiritual harmony. Ultimately, applying Jesus' teachings from the Urantia Book enriches life. It empowers us to navigate challenges gracefully, strengthens our inner self, and inspires us to live authentically and courageously. In essence, this vision of Jesus offers not only historical and cosmic wisdom, but also a clear path forward, a path of universal love, compassionate action, and spiritual fulfillment. It invites each of us to become active participants in an ongoing divine journey, deeply connected to the eternal source of life and love. If you made it here, it's not by accident. Maybe you didn't find this story. Maybe this story found you because something inside you already knows. Jesus wasn't just a man in history. He was a cosmic messenger, a divine brother, a mirror of what we can all become. The Urantia Book doesn't replace faith. It expands it, inviting us to see Jesus not just as a savior, but as a living example of spiritual courage, divine compassion, and cosmic connection. This is the Jesus who walked among us, not to be worshipped from afar, but to awaken what's eternal within. And that journey, the one he walked, is waiting for you now. Your soul remembers.